pay attention, kids, because you're about to learn a lot about squids.
That's right. All right, so let's jump into the third area. So this is the hub world for this is Octo Valley, and this is where the single player happens. You can actually just shoot whenever you feel like it. And there's, as you can see, we're just spreading our color everywhere.
Okay.
So I'm just going to jump into this level to kick us off. So this is Rise of the Octocoppers.
Okay. Now, if you guys are watching at home and you have any questions or stuff you want to see, there's only a certain amount we can show you, but if you have questions or requests or cool squid trivia, let us know. Just hop on Twitter and use the hashtag IGNPlaysLive, and we will keep an eye out for it.
Yep. So right now we're just going through single player, and you can actually mess around with these guys a lot.
So
like you saw, he saw me in Metal Gear fashion, and that X just means I can hit him from here. So when I pop up, he's gone. So you can have a lot of fun with sort of taunting the enemies, which is something that I don't think folks pick up on that often. Or I especially love when games let me do that, right? Like I love like Metal Gear Solid 3 is a great example of that. There's a couple Mario games, 3D Mario games, where that's kind of fun too. And we could actually make his life miserable.
So I'm kind of surprised because you do have yellow ink.
Yep.
I was under the impression that there was no yellow ink because it would look too much like pee.
Yeah, we were talking before, and there's no browns or reds to be anywhere, to be seen anywhere. But no, the colors, like I've seen a lot of like blues and greens and purples. But you're right. So check us out.
That's how the internet works. I think.
Yeah, we're in a tube. This is how this.
Just a inky cartoon teenager goes through the tube by turning into liquids
and leaves a comment. So let's take care of this guy. And here, I think so each level plays with a theme, right? So this one is basically just jumping on like, hey, using squid form to move around. So this is a special. This is our Ink Zuka. Check that out.
Ooh.
Just fire the tornado.
This is like the most 90s game I've seen in a very long time.
Okay, define 90s game.
Okay, so you've got, this is like Nickelodeon. This is like Gushers. This is Super Soakers. This is all the colors are like, you know, straight out of everything from my childhood.
Okay.
And I'm into it. I mean, it feels like a Nickelodeon game show or a Nicktoon. Like you're just this these slimy little guys. There's a lot of slime.
Oh yeah,
slime
absolutely. Yeah, and as you can. Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
A little bit bummed it's ink. You know, I think slime is a much cooler. You know, it's just it's semantics really, but.
Well, and it still leaves like, I mean, that's really cool, right? Like almost every splat is slightly different, and you can kind of play around with the physics of the world. And I like that. And obviously, you see me dipping into my ink. That's a big part of the way ammo in this game works.
Yeah, that's how you recharge your reservoir.
Yes, yes. So you see the tank on my back. That shows me how much ink I have. If you haven't been following this game, and you just kind of, oh, okay. And once he can't find me, watch his behavior. He's just gonna, go back. This has got to be purple.
Now, does the tank on your back, is that the only kind of on-screen indication of how full it is, aside from when you go under?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's kind of like a Dead Space thing. You kind of have to keep track of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. No, that was a really cool thing I thought in Dead Space. I'm glad that they are leaning on that. And there's no like ammo meter in sight except for when you dip into the ground as a squid. And you move faster when you're a squid, but you can't shoot. So you have to kind of deal with the trade-off. That's sort of what both the multiplayer and single player are going for. Oh, this guy throws a bomb, and that hurts. Let's move up, get rid of him. Oh, we got a special now. We're going to keep it, though. So in the campaign, you were trying to recover the great Zap Fish, which, if you've played a Mario game, is sort of like the equivalent of trying to get the stars in Mario, essentially. The great Zap Fish has been stolen, and you're sort of recovering these smaller pieces until you find the big one.
Okay. This isn't so heavily a single-player game, though, right? Or is it?
It's 28 stages.
Okay.
I love the last encounter. It's probably one of my favorite things I've played, but I can't say much about it because we can't talk about anything past World 3.
All right.
I am gonna jump to some of the later levels, try and show off a little of like when things really get cool. So let's jump into this sponge garden.
Floating sponge garden. See, there you go. You got a little SpongeBob in there.
Mm-hmm.
Not really 90s, but that's kind of a Nickelodeon jam. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and this time we got blue ink. Check that out. And we're off. So shoot the sponge, it gets bigger.
I don't like the blue ink as much as the yellow ink. I think
no?
The yellow ink looked like pea or cheese, so I was kind of into that. But
okay.
I mean, blue ink, like that's what you can fill out government forms with. That's an adult ink.
Yep.
It's a very boring ink color.
Right, here you
Purple's
go.
okay. teachers would get mad if you use that on a quiz.
You have experience?
Yeah. I used to be a TA.
Oh man, tell those stories.
My English teacher, I would grade vocab tests or vocab quizzes, and he would get mad at me. He wouldn't get mad at me, but he'd tell me like to not be such a hard ass about scolding kids for using wrong colored inks. But I'd be like, you're undermining my red pen.
I had teachers who would totally do that. I actually had some experience in education too, dude. I taught math for a while. Oh, watch out for these guys. So the enemies you're fighting are the Octarians, just to give people some context.
These are
to what's going on
Octogenarians.
Here. Yeah, the Octogenarians.
The old people trying to stop the teen squids from having fun.
Probably, right? So we're gonna jump up here. Some surfaces can't be inked for unexplained reasons, but I think I don't know. It's not too much of a bummer. But if an enemy does shoot these, when an enemy shoots these sponges, it does sort of take the color off of them. So I gotta be really careful.
So they'll start shrinking again.
Yeah, and that guy just gave me power egg. So these power eggs are important because in single player you can level up the equipment here, so it fires faster. I should have popped that balloon, but I took off. Alright, and one of the things I definitely enjoyed doing is taunting the enemies here. Like, look at him. Poor guy's struggling. And there's just a lot of personality, as Nintendo games are known to do, right? Like, a lot of the enemies. So let's let that shrink a little bit. We
got a question here from Ryan Roberts, Roberts on Twitter. He says, can you play with pointer controls?
No, this game does not support the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. It does use the Wii U Pro controller or the other Pro controllers that have been out on the market. Although the Gamepad uses motion, and I guess that's kind of a weird trade-off, right? Like, why not have that then? But for whatever reason, they didn't. I don't think they've elaborated too much on why.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe speculate that it would just be less accessible for menus or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Gamepad though is a really good controller for this game, just because in multiplayer you can sort of look down and get immediate like, okay, how are we doing? And you'll see when we get to that
your map on there.
Yep. And we could also paint the trees.
Yeah. Why don't you flip that around and just show that to
sure. So this is the single player map you're saying. Sorry about the camera. I do play with motion on, and James is gonna come in and show it to you. So this is a single player map in the game. So you're just getting a quick look on the gamepad of what that's like. In multiplayer, the gamepad's super important because you're going to be able to see on there, okay, how are we doing? You can also tap on a friendly soldier and jump over to help in that area.
That's cool.
Granted, as long as that person doesn't get splat. If they do, it's okay, you'll still land, but you're probably in trouble territory. So I'm going to pull back, James. All right, cool. And we're back. And I'm going to paint the tree too, because I can.
Now, friendly reminder, if you guys have questions, just hop on Twitter, use the hashtag IGNPlaysLive, and we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, these poor guys are sitting ducks. Imagine you're an enemy on that sponge. How much trouble are you in?
Those guys with the helicopter hats look pretty miserable, actually.
Yeah, they do. Hopefully I can hit one of them. Hey, got him. Oh, just a little over. All right, we're pretty much done here. And we're going to move over to one of the later levels, which is built around sliding platforms. It's actually one of my favorites. And what I can say is that campaign, this is not a throwaway campaign. Like, I really enjoy that. Just like a Mario game, there's a lot of variety. Like, they pick a theme for the stage, they stick to it, they develop it, the challenge ramps up as you go. And I really, really enjoy when Nintendo does that. So I'm going to jump around a little bit to try and find the level I'm looking for. Nope, it's not that one.
And now I think one question: how easy is it to pick it up? Like how do you find the controls in terms of kind of getting used to them?
Well, it depends definitely on your preference, right? Like I've played with motion on. I do strongly feel that the game is sort of built around that in mind, but you can switch them off. It controls like any third-person shooter. If not, okay, so we're gonna go here, shifting platforms. It controls like any third-person shooter. If not, you just have to be conscious of how much ink do I have and kind of keeping your part of your awareness on that meter on your back. So when I first played this game at E3, I made the mistake of shoot, and then noticing after the fact, oh man, I'm out of ink, and you have to like kind of stop your action. So if you notice while I'm playing, I'm doing a lot of dipping and going through. So this entire stage, talking a little bit about what I was saying earlier, the theme is sliding platforms, and so we're going to be sliding through things like this a lot.
Okay.
To deal with enemies.
That's some fun little platforming there.
Yeah. No, they definitely they developed this idea pretty well. This is one of my favorites.
The ink is really, really gorgeous.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
a lot of thought went into it. You can tell. And just like you're kind of in single player, you don't have to paint everything, but you almost want to.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's pretty cool.
This is I really like how it's not super slime. Like they don't have like a slime effect on it. It's kind of like there's definitely some gradient there, but it's really kind of flat. It's like painting.
Well,
it's like actual ink. Like
no, for sure. I'm gonna sneak over here.
A little bit of texture, but oh,
yep.
Got him. Yeah, so this reminds me a lot of the ink stuff in Portal 2.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I've definitely heard. I've heard folks sort of echo that, and I think definitely to some degree it is like that. Oh. So I like this stage a lot because it's busy, right? Like you have to be aware of where the platforms are going, and then dip in, get under. Sam Claiborne walked by my Destiny was like, wow, this actually looks challenging. And I'm like, yeah, this is not a throwaway campaign. Like I'm really, really impressed by it. It's short, but it's still sort of short and sweet. Doesn't take too long to get it out of your way. And sadly, though, one of the only ways to get replay value out of it really is through Amiibo, or if you're searching for the collectible that's hidden in it. But yeah, I can't say what that's used for, but every stage does have something in it. I think they're called sea scrolls. And so you kind of want to be aware and be on the prowl for those because they do have a purpose like any collectible in any game, and that was a bad idea. Let's paint. Ooh.
Now we have some of the Amiibo here. Are we allowed to talk about these guys
Yeah,
at all?
absolutely. Show it.
Yeah, we've got these little guys. We've got let's see if I can remember their names.
Oh, let's do it.
There's Squid Girl, Squid Boy.
Okay.
And then this is just like a squid. Is that
Inkling Squid?
Inkling
I think.
Squid.
Yeah.
Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl. Yeah.
An Inkling Squid.
Yeah, they're just there's teen squids.
Yeah. So through Amiibo, you're able to play through campaign levels with an additional challenge on, and you can unlock currency that you use for. This is gonna be bad. Oh, I missed it. So that's what death looks like in Splatoon. You got to see it. So we're back at this checkpoint. But so earlier I didn't even notice this, but watch. There's sort of like an overhang over there. When I ink it, you actually see like the ink like dripping from it. I thought you'd appreciate that. Being an art guy. You are an art guy, right?
Yeah.
You and Brian. I think that's why we all get along so well. We're all like super visual people. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is. I've definitely spent my fair share of time with actual paint, so this is like. I played a very boring, gritty, realistic adult version of this game in my downstairs bathroom where I painted it. That was really it.
Oh no, did I mess up? No, I got through this time. Whoa, that was almost a mistake. I was gonna get greedy and get these balloons, I might as well. And there's also 2 more over here. Yeah, I also like sort of the Mario Galaxy feel of it all, where you jump on these launch platforms are basically like launch stars.
It's one of those things that just feels good.
Oh yeah, no, that too. Oh, that guy's not gonna back off. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, so you're getting a look at Splatoon single player. We're going to be playing this for a little longer before we switch over to some of the other areas of the game. And I just got wrecked, so I got to be careful. All right,
let's see. ACX7 on Twitter says, can you use the Pro Controller in multiplayer, or is it just the Gamepad?
It is. So in 1 versus 1 multiplayer, you can use the Wii U Pro Controller. In single player, it is just Gamepad, and in multiplayer online, it is just Gamepad.
Really?
You cannot switch. I will say, though, this is one of the few times that using the Gamepad kind of makes sense a lot because of being able to see the map at all times in multiplayer, which is critical, right? You need to see the zones that have to be recaptured. And having that quick feedback on the screen, like right at your fingertips,
you're not
is
missing
really
any
useful.
objectives.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it is about controlling territory. And when we get to multiplayer later, you can see that.
I'm going to say it, those things you're collecting look like Dragon Balls. You could make so many wishes based on how many you've picked up so far.